So I know I've made a few videos about my favorite snacks. Today I want to make you and demonstrate my favorite cake. Now, I don't eat like real cake with flour. I've been gluten-free a couple decades, but this is a raw, vegan, gluten-free, dairy-free, egg-free cake. Is it easy? No. I make it a few times a year, and if you eat the standard American diet, if you eat a lot of processed food, sugar, you may not like this, but if you love and appreciate healthy food, I think you'll love this as much as I do. So what I do is I start with 3 cups of shredded carrot, and you wring out as much moisture. Now save that, it's carrot juice, but wring out the moisture of 3 cups of shredded carrots, and I've put it in my food processor, along with a cup of shredded coconut, a cup of chopped pitted dates, about a tablespoon of minced ginger, 5 tablespoons of coconut flour, a teaspoon of cinnamon, a dash of allspice, and then this is kind of optional, or you can vary it, but usually I use about a 1/4 cup of sunflower seeds and a 1/4 cup of raisins. I didn't have any raisins, so I used a little bit more sunflower seeds today. And then I'm going to blend this up until it's well mixed and kind of sticky. Sometimes it gets a little firm. Mine is a little dry because my carrots have been sitting out a while. But once you get this all blended up and kind of sticky, I will show you in a minute, then we'll put it in the pan. So hang on. I'm back. So I've taken my contents in my food processor with all my carrot cake mixture, and I've put it in a loaf pan that is lined with parchment paper. You have to use the parchment paper or you'll probably have quite the mess. Now what I've done is I've really pushed it down and used the parchment paper to really push this all together. And then I'm going to go freeze this for a few hours until it's quite firm. Now there is an option. You could do a lazier person's version of this cake, and instead of using a loaf pan, you could use an 8x8 or 9x9 and then put the frosting that I'm about to make just on top and be done. But I like the way this turns out, and so I'll surprise you when I'm done. I'll be back. While your cake is getting all firmed up in the freezer, I'm going to make the frosting. This is kind of a cream cheese substitute, and again, it's gluten-free, dairy-free, egg-free. So first you're going to start with a cup of raw cashews. I have soaked these all day or overnight, and that will help them blend to be nice and creamy. So then I'm going to drain them and rinse them. And I'm going to put these in a high-speed blender, along with 2 to 3 tablespoons of maple syrup, depending on how sweet you'd like it. You could use some artificial sweetener, but the maple syrup is really nice. About 2 teaspoons of lemon juice and a ½ teaspoon of vanilla. And then you're going to blend in a 1/3 cup of coconut oil. I'll be right back to show you how it turns out. So I've taken my cake out of the freezer. It's been in there about 4 hours and it's pretty firmed up. So I pulled it out of the loaf tin, and it's kind of tricky and tough, but I flip the cake up and try to slice it in half so that I can put the frosting in between, and it's like a sandwich cake. I know I'm making this more difficult for myself than I really need to. And my frosting turned out a little lumpier than usual, so word to the wise, I used a blender with a wide bottom pitcher, and it turns out much better because of the low volume of frosting, to use like a narrow, smaller blender. So it'll still taste great, it just won't have quite as creamy of a texture. So I've taken half of my cake and I've put it back in my little loaf pan, and I'm going to put my cashew cream frosting, lay it over, spread it over evenly, and then I'm going to put this top cake on top, and then I'll fold it in, and I'm going to put it in the freezer overnight. And then I will show you how it turns out tomorrow. It's pretty cool. Ta-da! I'm finally done with my raw vegan carrot cake. If you can look down, normally the bottom layer would be a little thicker, but I didn't get it quite perfect. But as you can see, it's cake with my cashew cream, maple cream filling, and then the cake in between. So I guess you could compare it to, I don't know what you call those kind of sandwich type cakes, but again, you can do the lazy version and just make your cake and put the frosting on top. But I love it. Give it a try. It's fun, and especially if you have any allergy-free guests. So give it a shot. Research shows that clicking the thumbs up and subscribe button will make fingers healthy and strong, and besides, it's free.